Hey everybody, Ben here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up for yourself each and every day. So we're going to get into an emotion here we might be struggling with and looking for a way to navigate our way through it. If it resonates, feel free to like or comment. If it doesn't, don't make it fit. So it looks like our word is touchy. And at first I would have thought like, hey, we're in a touchy space, very testy. But then I was thinking how the past messages these days had to do with new love, and maybe we're a little touchy. We are uh, clingy, if we will. I don't know which way we're going. We'll see what comes out. So testy, touchy, on the verge. Anything and everything that comes in, we is just fuel. We are ready to snap. Obviously, something needs to be released, and in that touchy space, anything and everything around it uh, may not even be a problem. It's just something to irritate us further to a point to explode. And then when that happens, is it constructive? Sure, it might be done in the wrong place, wrong time, wrong person. But what I'm talking about constructive as after it takes place, do we have an opportunity to reflect on it and really see what the root cause is? What brought us to this point that everything and everything, or just a certain person, any word out of their mouth, is just taking us to a higher escalation? The ideal thing would be to grab a hold of that before it takes place to see why, but maybe we don't know how. Maybe it's just super grabby. Uh, I don't know of anybody that would be in a touchy space. The clinger space would still be here watching this after that, but uh, clinging to something, whether somebody or something, they're producing something that we feel like we don't have, and we need that. That makes us feel comfortable in a stage. I don't think I'm going to go down that road. We'll just stay with we're we're frustrated. The opposite uh, is euphoric. Obviously, that's a whole polar opposite. It almost sounds like somebody on drugs and just everything's okay. That's a huge polar opposite, going from everything that is everything triggers me. How do we get through there? How do we? Because most of the time, if everything's triggering us, we wouldn't be in that space if we knew what the deep root was. Or maybe we know and we just can't go there. We can't, we have to get things done, or, we have to show up. Like, let's say it's our job and we don't really have a choice because we got bills to pay. We do have a choice, but we think we don't have a choice. What's suppressed in there that we can't speak? Let's think of somebody that's been, their voice has been suppressed, and maybe they're in a relationship or a work environment that they feel like they can't speak up. So instead, we embody all of this, and it is creating outcomes. Seven of Cups, dreams and desires. Uh, First off, it did come towards us like a dream. Like, hey, we're really trying to get towards our uh, our dream space, like what we're our goals, and we can't get there. Like, I'm stuck in this situation, and I'm so angry. I'm so frustrated. Everything triggers me. I get these messages, maybe like synchronicities, and it's like, what the fuck does that matter? Like, it's not changing anything. And that really comes into that stuck mind, which means we can't see it. Like I said before, everything is this triggering aspect, and I can't see the way through. I feel stuck. Obviously, I'm stuck in these emotions because I can't release this, or I'm gonna at some point, and it's gonna be a bit ugly probably, or I might do something self-destructive or self-sabotaging, and I just want to see, but I can't. Uh, could be going off that illusion, like I said, with the job, and that we're stuck there because we have our bills to pay, and that makes sense on a face value. But maybe we've been trying to get more jobs or another job, but it's just the industry in general. Doesn't matter where we work, it's the situation, and it just irks us. But it's what we know, and that's what feels safe or makes sense to work. or we can make a certain salary there. But clearly, you know, if we really did jump around and we keep kind of going into the same industry, just different companies, it's the same shit, different day. And we always end up in the same spot. That's a pretty clear sign that something needs to change. Maybe we don't know how. Maybe we're too scared to. And I get that. But uh, even if it is going back to this dream and desire, we have to get there. Otherwise, it's impossible because that dream is in a different us. And the old us doesn't fit there. So that's kind of where all these changes come from. Got the star reversed. A lack of faith. I briefly talked about, when we're talking about dreams and goals, manifestations, I briefly talked about, you know, spirit team and coming through and giving these signs or synchronicities. And it's like, I can't see it. I can't get out of this. It's this mindset we're stuck in and we can't see. And maybe we've really been trying, like I said, and I get that. That's frustrating. But this whole touchy aspect and everything and anything is triggering. Well, that's how can I say this? That's not showing us, these little triggers aren't showing us what the problem is. The problem's deep down in there somewhere, and it's the embers or the coals of the fire, and all these little things are just wood. So we could remove the wood that is the triggers, these little triggers that are getting little bursts of our emotions out. But how do we really put that fire out? How do we dig down to those coals to see what started it in the first place? Spirit's obviously trying to help. It's trying to show us. We can't see it because we're looking at the top of it. We are looking at the surface and probably something we're hanging on to that's keeping us safe. Which that wouldn't make sense with anger, you know? But we protect things that hurt. Think of the shadow. Think of our insecurities, if that's attached. Fear in general, lack mentality. We protect those things because when we press up against them, it's almost, I don't know if I can say that word, but uh, it's crazy to do so because we could put ourselves in danger. We could hurt ourselves. We could feel things we don't like to feel. Uh, who wants to go up against that? Are we aware of this? Or are we just totally, it's not even in our perspective. Seven of Swords reversed. Consequences. We could be blaming ourselves. We're holding ourselves accountable for decisions, choices, really beating ourselves up. And that's not helping. That's not going to help at all. But we are in a place of taking ownership of our circumstances and pointing at how, if I would have done this differently, this would have been easier, or if I just would have done this or stayed here or left earlier, or whatever it is. We are carrying this, which is definitely fueling this fire of this being in this stuck place, and it's obviously taking us farther away from this. But what good is that doing if we really think about it? Maybe we can't help it. We feel stuck. We want to change something. We can't. We're dwelling in the past. I get that. But how do we see those embers down at the bottom? What's really, well, I know it's coming through as release or a surrender, but who wants to do this in this space? They can't. A Knight of Cups reversed. Fickle actions. This is a normal thing when we're in these places. We're trying to change something. We don't want it to be the way that it is, the way that I'm feeling. And we'll grab little things thinking they're going to pacify the wound, the trauma, the insecurity, whatever is there, the fear. That is like taking a garden hose and just turning it on for a little bit over that fire. The flames go down and the smoke rolls up. But those embers are still there. It's still hot. Once that water evaporates or steams off and a little breeze, the fire's going again. It's obviously a place of, that is way too many. Okay. Obviously a place of that we really, if we want to get through it, we gotta release or surrender to a place that we can see it. We gotta remove our hand if we want to see it. If we want to know the root cause, we need to ask for help. We got 4 cards here. Queen of Swords reversed. Harsh judgment. This can go back to beating ourselves up, or the actual truth. And the truth is the truth. Maybe we don't want to see the truth and we're neglecting to see it. Or maybe we did and we don't want to take ownership of it. Got the 5 of Cups. Disappointment. Obviously, whatever took place or wherever we're at, we're not happy with. We don't want to be there. We want it to change. But these little actions here and there, we've noticed aren't doing it for us. It's not fixing the situation. It's just surface level. Maybe that's all we can do. We really can't see how else to do this. Like, I've been trying. I've been going here or there, and what we perceive is the surface. We see the flames. Maybe we don't put wood on at times, or we don't go into these situations at times because they do this, or we feel like we need that because it's going to do this or that. That is all what we perceive up here. What is deep down in there? 2 of Cups reversed. A misalignment. I said sometime here that, with that harsh judgment, that maybe we don't want to see the truth. And it hits a little bit. Like, it comes through and it's like, nah, that can't be it. And we push that off. And if that can't be it, is that what we're trying to keep alive, or we're trying to fuel, or we're hanging on to? Well, maybe we should look at it a little bit more if that's the case. Because, Ace of Wands, a new beginning. There has to be a change or a movement from this place to begin anew. Otherwise, we'll stay in this. We'll stay in this position. If we're feeling these truths, whatever they may be, that we're getting messages of, are they coming through and we're justifying it, we're changing it, we are hanging on to it a bit and saying, no, that can't be it, and nothing else is working, and then it comes up again and we say, nah, this can't be it. Well, maybe we should look at that a little deeper. And how do we do that? We probably don't want to, because it's pushing up against the shadow aspect or something that's important to us that we thought was a trauma, an insecurity, a fear of letting go of that or being completely redirected. Who wants to let go of that? It's important for some reason. That's why we're hanging on to it. Most of the time, the things that we hang on to the most can be the biggest burden that needs to be released. Or this misalignment. I'm not saying that's the case, but we need to do a little bit of reflection here, or call on our spirit team and be like, okay, I'm not sure if it's this or not, but I'm releasing, when I ask this question, I'm releasing that from the question. Just please show me the truth in a way that I can't manipulate it, that I can't change it, that I can't justify it, I can't alter it, that it is so clear and that I understand it, and then see what comes through. But we have to be very precise with that. Don't bring what we think it is into the question. Just ask for, what are these embers? What is the root cause of this? And make sure it's so clear that I can't manipulate it and that I understand it. And see how that resonates when that comes through. And then it might be a harsh truth. And that's tough. But at least we know then. And if we want to get out of here, we can. I'm going to leave this here. If this resonated, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you all later.